Ah. Hello, hello, chat. Hello, hello. Hey, boss, have you beaten the game already? No. I've been playing it with you guys. Yo, boss, I saw your last vid. On TikTok there? What about it? It wasn't very much of a coherent video. It was just kind of me screaming out to the world. I don't even know if I made sense in that video, honestly. I'm sorry. Mr. Misham couldn't stand technology, it seems. He did everything by mail. Maybe he thought that way was more artistic, you know? In any case, the only person besides him allowed in here was his daughter, Vera. Oh, you mean the killer? The suspect, please. The only thing I'm mad on is about the Pokemon game. Listen, at the end of the day, you're going to enjoy what you enjoy. I can't take that from you. I can't take that from you. I can't take away anyone's enjoyment of anything. God damn it! I like the first Spider-Man game for GameCube. You can take my opinion and throw it in the fucking garbage if you want. No one has to listen to me or agree with me. But when it comes to seeing games that have been broken messes, I can't not say it about Pokemon. We took some fingerprints, of course. The only ones found in the room were Mr. Misham's and Vera's, basically. Actually, last night, Mr. Misham gave an interview to a reporter for the first time. It happened during the interview, apparently. His first interview ever? Could you tell us a bit more about what happened the night of the murder? So, this woman, Vera. She's Mr. Misham's daughter, right? Yep, a real sickly girl, since she was little. Hardly ever went outside. She did kind of give off withdrawn sort of aura. She was homeschooled by her father, apparently. It was quite a scene when they took her to the detention center. She was screaming about how she'd die if they took her outside. That does sound like a scene. In the end, she agreed to leave if she was allowed her good luck charm for company. Her good luck charm? Apparently, she has this charm that magically gives her the courage to go outside. Why can't I ever get a normal client? But why would a shut-in daughter kill her own dad? Don't look at me. So, about the poison. It was found to be in his coffee, right? No, not precisely. Not precisely? What does that mean? It means see for yourself, I think. Like I said, last night was the first time someone from outside came into the studio. I guess mysterious painters who never go outside make for good articles. And it just so happened that he died the night of his first interview. At around 9 p.m. every night, Vera always made him a cup of coffee. Last night, he drank his usual coffee and suddenly became violently ill. And died. And died? She poisoned him on the night of his interview? Wouldn't the reporter see? He wasn't near Mr. Misham when she brought her father his coffee. He was checking out some equipment in the back of the room. Supposedly, that's why she didn't notice he was there. It was the reporter who called the police, in fact. Wait, but why is she the suspect? If anyone's suspicious, it's the reporter. Yet the reporter never got near Mr. Misham's coffee. Even Vera acknowledged that. Regardless, I want to know more about this reporter. I bet Emma could help us out here. Don't forget, flattery will get you everywhere with her, Apollo. Huh? What are you two whispering about? Well, I was thinking. I mean, what is it we always do when we run into you at a crime scene? What is it we always do scientifically? Ah, you know me too well. Okay. Okay, meaning we can get scientific now? Also, no drops in stream. Sick. I'm liking this now. This is good shit. Hey, Remus. Oh, I suppose. Just this once. Bring me anything you find suspicious and we'll check it out. I present you the mug. Emma, about this mug. There's a pale blue residue on the rim. Eh? That? Yeah, well, it's just a rumor. But I've heard there's a kind of coffee called Blue Mountain. I'm pretty sure it isn't actually blue, Emma. Ah, right. Okay, you got me. That's left over from my testing spray. Forensic science! I knew your hobby was behind this somehow, Emma. It's not a hobby. So what kind of scientific stuff were you up to? This spray, that's what. It turns blue when it touches poison. So the poison that killed the victim was on this mug. That's right, see? It wasn't in the coffee. The killer applied it to the rim of the mug itself. Wow, science is amazing. It certainly is helpful. Maybe Emma would be willing to help us out a bit more. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. They say flattery will get you everywhere. Certainly worth talking to her a bit more. About poison analysis. I was afraid you were going to ask about that. See, this solution is used to test for atroquinin. Atroquinin, the deadly poison found in the autopsy. Uh-oh, I know that spark in her eyes. She's getting excited. Best tread lightly. It's one of the most virulent poisons, but it's absorbed in the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from time of ingestion for adverse effects to show. Oh, and guess what? Recent research has shown... That's fine, really. We don't need to know all the gory details. I think I get it. You just spray this stuff on something you want to test, right? Precisely. You can even find the slightest trace of poison with this. I want to try it too, Emma. Pretty please. You don't have to ask twice. I already used it on everything suspicious, of course. Yay! Let's give it a whirl, Apollo. Ah! What are you doing? I was just seeing if it got a reaction off of you. How's this for a reaction? Never do that again! I'm not poisonous! Tell that to those hapless witnesses on the stand. Let's just get down to checking for real poison, shall we? I'm spraying everywhere! Where the fuck am I supposed to spray? Too bad, no reaction there. I'm sure Emma checked out all the likely spots. Wait a second. What is it, Apollo? Did you spray that little desk over there? I don't think so. The spray probably can't reach that far, you know. Well, let's check it out, just to be sure. Oh, thank Christ! Spray it all! Spray! What's this? Hello, Susan. Yeek! A reaction! Apollo! Ah! Where? The inside the cute little frame. Look. Well, would you look at that? Nice going, Trucy. I'm known to work magic. Never mind that I was the one who found it. Frame measuring 2 inches by 2 inches bears traces of deadly poison. Why would the inside of the frame have poison on it? It looks like we found the only other place that has poison in any case. Oh, I have to present this to her. Okay. Emma, about this. Oh, that. Yeah, why is that a bright red envelope? She sure is jumpy. Agreed about Pokemon ZA. I was expecting a lot of pushback today. I actually was very scared about posting that video, honestly. Someone opened this, didn't they? My lips are sealed. Your lips are sealed? That's a first. You mean you know what's inside the envelope? Sure, I read it, after all. Ah, you mean you're the one who ripped this open. Ha! Please, I would have steamed it open. But she did sneak a peek at it, apparently. Know that I have a powerful weapon on my side.
Any frame drops so far?
Nope.
Nice. Okay. Coffee started. I'll bring you a cup when it's ready.
Thank you.
I love you.
Weapon? Yes, the use of tools. Highly specialized tools for information gathering. Tools I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. You should try flattering her, Apollo. They say a little praise can open big doors. Never heard that one, but it's good advice. Let's try talking to her some more. about that envelope we found. I was wondering if you could help us out with that tool you were mentioning. You want to know about my tool, do you? It's called an X-ray analyzer. X-ray, like the X-rays you get at the dentist? That's right. At least that's what I call it. Huh? It has a real name, but it's much more complicated. The X-ray spectralization. Something, how am I supposed to remember all that? So basically, it's let you see inside things, like envelopes. That's right. You're sharp, Trucy. But it's a bit more complicated than that in practice, of course. Actually, to tell the truth, I'm not really sure how it works scientifically. Can I try it out, Emma? Please? Oh, I suppose. Of course, I've already checked out everything suspicious myself. Alright, let's give it a spin, Apollo. Yeah, what are you doing? I'm just seeing if I can see through your hair. That's like lead. Point that thing at me anymore and I might all fall out. Then I wouldn't need an X-ray machine to see through. Let's just get down to business, shall we? Right, let's test it on a sample first. It just so happens that I have a lottery ticket here. You see the sample in the device like so. I don't see anything. Patience, there's no need to get all antsy. Look at the right side of the screen. That's the layer view on the envelope. Layer view? You've got it set to display the outside of the envelope now, see? Actually, it's quicker to just have you give it a try. Turn the dial out there with the arrow keys for me, would you? Oh, that's cool. That's right. That's how you choose what depth you want to scan. Hey, I got something! See, that's how you can read the letters on the ticket inside. Cool, huh? Except I can't read them. Just turn the dial a little more. What you have to understand is that a sheet of paper isn't really flat at all. When you zoom in that much, you see the paper is like a bunch of hills and valleys. Wow, really? This X-ray device uses a beam with a wavelength of only 0.05 microns. It breaks cards down to thin layers so it can only show what's written on that layer. I'm not entirely following you, but what good is it if you can't read anything? That's why we go on to step 2. Try rubbing the image a bit if you would. Rubbing, like going over the image with the letter keys while holding space. There, that fixes the image on the screen. Now turn the dial again, just a little. Good, now you can run this image to fix it too. Your number is 0016. Try again. Oh, this is cool. Okay, let's print this one out. That's cool. Does this mean I have to buy another one to win? Well, it's Emma's ticket. Let her buy another one. It's okay, there's no need. See, this is the true hidden power of my weapon. Neat, huh? Now let's try it out on the real thing, shall we? This is real forensic technique, just isn't used like that. Well, yeah, there is some creative license to this. I don't even have to hold space, I can just do this. Oh, okay. Mr. Drew Mission, I've deposited $100,000 in this designated account. Please send a receipt once you've confirmed the transfer. Okay, so our victim had $100,000 transferred to his account. Someone deposited $100,000 in Mr. Mission's account? His paintings must be really valuable. There's another page in there. Care to take a look? You bet I do. If you're gonna read someone's mail, you might as well read all. Here goes with the second page then. Okay. Sign the papers and send them enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. I need not remind you not to speak of this to anyone. So it was a letter about payment for one of his paintings. Why all the secrecy, though? And what? Why was this letter the only one in here? It's 7 years old, right? Maybe it had some special significance to him? Well, Emma? Well, indeed. She knows something she's not telling us. Looks like she's keeping mum about it. So, Emma, I was wondering, what's the story about this reporter that came here for a story the night of the crime? I'm afraid I can't tell you because he's going to be a witness tomorrow, I hear. I thought so. I'll never forget that face, but what was his name? Oh, right. Russell. Russell. He's after a scoop to sell to the papers. So a reporter comes for an interview with a painter, his first interview ever, and that night he's killed. Seems strange to you? Really strange. It does raise a few questions. I'd like to speak with this reporter if I could. Well, I hear he's on beat today, too. He said something about covering a magician? Magician? Well, if it's not Trucy, that leaves only one other person. It wasn't Valiant Grumier, by any chance, was it? Yeah, something like that. He's got some big show lined up, I hear. So he's out interviewing Valiant Grumier. Looks like he'll be heading out to the Coliseum again sooner than I thought. Here, I'll give you that reporter's card. Jesus Christ, how much evidence do I need? Like, chat, look at this. Holy fuck, we're already up, like, nearly 2 pages. Woohoo! This is it, Apollo! The place where magic and dreams converge. Did you fire again? No, we're good. Frames are good. Just a while ago, it was a place where murder and nightmares converged. Let's go say hi to Uncle Valent. What about the cakes? Only a performer laughs like that. The young Miss Trucy. How often I hope we meet again, only to tell myself it was an impossible dream. Uncle Violet, how's it going? I'm glad to see you too. Of course you are. Humility is definitely not one of his strongest traits. Well, Miss Trucy, how does the day find you? If you've come to give me flowers, do it after the show. I beg you. Actually, we came to wish you good luck. And congratulations on your big magic show. Oh, but it is I who wishes to congratulate you. Not everyone is so lucky as to witness miracles, such as the ones I shall perform. Yeah, you're amazing. We get the picture. The world will watch in wonderment as Magnifi's illusions are reborn. Here on stage, by my hand. Everyone's talking about the big magic show. Is it true that Gramier Miracle is back after 7-year absence? Miss Trucy, I must apologize. This show and this honor should have been his. Dad. My co-magician in training, Zach Gramier. If that terrible thing hadn't. It's okay. Your father was a great magician, Trucy. If he were alive, then I, Valentin Gramier, would have been proud to stand up on this stage as his assistant. Thanks, Uncle Valent. You know, I'm happy you're doing the show. To think we get to see the great Magnifi's illusions again. She really is looking forward to this, isn't she? My mentor, the magnificent Magnifi Gramier, was a true deity among magicians. A creator god who gave birth to magic and illusions that defied our very imaginations. I was so little when I last saw one, but I still remember his shows. He did wheelies in a sports car through the air above the audience, and then sped off to the outer space faster than the speed of sound. I'm guessing that memory was a bit embellished. Wait, this isn't Universal Studios. For 7 long years, the world has been waiting for a miracle to match this. As heir to the Gramarye Troop's secrets, it falls to me to provide them. It is my God-given destiny. Yes! You nameless face who speaks for the nameless masses. How can I help you? Yeah, the world was waiting. Why did you hold off for 7 long years? It appears this lad is uninformed. Perhaps you have heard of the magic known as law, which governs our land. I have, though I'm not sure it qualifies as magic. The performance of Magnifi's miracle was impossible. A certain law prevented it for 7 years, but no more! 7 years? That thing sure likes to pop up, doesn't it? And why was that? A little matter called performance rights, Miss Trucy. Can you tell us about these performance rights? Magnifi's magic relied on an incredible innovation idea. A trick, if you will. That trick was considered his property and as such was protected by property laws. Intellectual property, maybe. Magnifi knew this and bequeathed it in his will. To one person. You mean him? Yes, Miss Trucy. It was your father. Zach Gramier was the inheritor of the Gramier miracle. Dad. Yet, as you well know, he is gone. He disappeared suddenly 7 years ago. I think I see where the story is going. Once a person is classified missing for a certain period of time, they're considered legally deceased, correct? In all absoluteness, those road-up sleeves conceal your competence well, young man. That certain period of time of which you speak is 7 years. Ah. Yes, Miss Trucy. Though it pains me to say it, the past spring, April to be precise, was the time. Your father was legally declared deceased, in the absence of a formal will. The secrets of our mighty mentor, Magnifi, passed to me. This was, in fact, stipulated in the will by Magnifi himself. Is that how it works, Apollo? Yeah, it's called death and absent. Oh my god, I can't say it! Jesus Christ! Absentia. My god! It's called death in absentia. He's declared missing. Permanently. Dad. I was wondering if you could tell me about this. Aha! Why, that bears the Gramier seal! Uncle Valent, is something wrong? Trucy, where did you get this? Dad gave it to me. Your father? My partner No, my other dad, Phoenix. Why now? Why would your Lord Daddy? Lord Daddy? That's kind of stretching the whole archaic thing a bit. This signature upon the back, do you recognize it? That belongs to none other than Zach Granier! What? Dad signed this? Might I be as bold to open it? I'm sorry, but I can't let you do that. What's in this envelope, I wonder? So, a journalist was here on a story. All eyes in the universe are upon my stage. All pens seek to commit its mysteries to paper. Lord Daddy sounds like a sub at a Ren fair. His name is Brushel. Brushel. I think he remembers him. He doesn't look too happy about it. Brushel, that cloying smell of mint when he smiles, yes. Could you tell us more about him? What did he want? A man by that name called on me just now. Just now? Valent's vision is always towards tomorrow. Valent's feet step always forward. That is all. That's all? Very confusing. I am to perform a big magic show, yes? I wanted someone to cover it. Yet he had ears only for that incident. In any case, I requested that the rapacious reporter remove himself. So a painter has died. What of it? It is but a footnote in a footlight compared to the magic of Gramier. Uncle Valent, do you know where the reporter went? I recommended he visit that place popular with penalized perpetrators. The detention center. He was a rude individual. Might I see that card? Sure. He would tear apart my respectability. I will tear apart him! Ooh, here it comes, Apollo. Uncle Valent's big magic trick. Is he gonna fix the card? Not sure that qualifies as big magic. What happened to the big magic? Ha ha! It is not more miraculous for it to stay ripped. You must have really not liked that journalist. Now the time has come when I must return to make my presentation preparations. By your leave, Miss Trucy. Thanks, Uncle Valent. 3 days from now, make ready for a miracle. What do you think of that journalist was after? Why did Valent react like this to that envelope? I think it's time to pay the detention center another visit. Agreed. Oh wow, Phoenix is actually here. Fuck. Hello, father. I think I hear what you're saying. We're all doing it for the money. End quote. No, not at all. Looks like someone's already meeting here. Maybe that reporter? Oh god, what the fuck are you? What the fuck are you? Ah! Ah! I hate it. Hey there, how you doing? Who might you be? Sorry, we didn't know someone was already here. I'm Apollo Justice, attorney at law. Talk about a nervous monkey. You're Justice? You know me? Do I know you? Of course I know you. Stares down witnesses on the stand till they spill beans. End quote. That's not true at all. What's he writing? Are you a reporter by any chance? Who? Wow, you're Trucy. Am I famous? Oh yeah. Trucy Wright hates carrying a bag. Puts everything she owns in her panties. End quote. Yeek! That's so not true. Just hold on to your breeches there. I'll wrap up this interview in a jiffy. Interview? So, Guard, I think I know what's going on here. Guarding rooms is my life. What else can I possibly need? End quote. No! How many times do I have to tell you this? Look, I've got work to do. You deal with him. Did you come here to interview the guard? Oh, what a pickle. Accused wouldn't talk, had to interview someone or go plumb crazy, end quote. Huh? I should have guessed. Where's my manners? Name's Brushel. Spark Brushel. I'm not picky. Journalists just close eyes rights, end quote. What's that nauseatingly strong mint smell every time he breathes? Until you've been interviewed by me, you don't know what thrilling is. Wild romp through crossroads or mayhem madness, end quote. I can see that. He's writing something again? Well, if he's a reporter, maybe he knows something. I don't like him. What the fuck, my dude? She's 14. So, Mr. Brushel, you're a journalist? Ah, me? Look, me. Let me state one thing for the record here. Yeah? I'm the interviewer. You understand, yeah? I'm the one asking the questions here, end quote. Okay. For instance, you think a movie director watches movies? Well, I think he probably does. Exactly! I knew you'd understand. Huh? So, the night of the murder, you were at Drew's studio? For me? Look, let me state one thing for the record. Yeah? I may look calm and collected, but I'm busy, real busy, always on the road. Journalist always buys one-way tickets, never looks back. End quote. I can understand that philosophy, but... You want to know the thing about one-way tickets? Once you use them, they're gone. All because you have to give them to the guy at the airport. True enough, but don't they give normal tickets away too? Exactly, see? It's the same thing! What is? I wanna punch Pencil Neck here. So you went to do a story on Drew Misham. Oh, my controller keeps popping up. Okay. And he never had a story done about him before. That's right. Let me state one thing for the record here. What? I'm sure you're going to want to know about my source. What tipped me off to Drew? Why do the interview in the first place? Well, yeah. Look, it's like... Oh, I've got it. Say there's this burger joint with fabulous ketchup. You think the burger guy's gonna tell me where he got it? At the supermarket, maybe? Exactly, see? That's what I'm talking about. I think I may have actually understood that one. Well, there's nothing I can talk about, really. Walls have ears, eyes, especially glass walls with speakers. End quote. Right, guess we'll leave then. But since you're here, I just will tell you a tidbit of news I saw just for the heck of it. Sure, tell us. Just for the heck of it. I remember it was like yesterday. I'd seen a movie on a trip and wandered into this burger place with amazing ketchup. When an article in the tabloid caught my eye. Famous oil painter stolen from art dealer's gallery, end quote, I believe it was. And oil painting? Never do that sniffing thing again! Happens every day, right? But I thought I'd seen that painting somewhere before. A painting of a giant peach floating down a river. Someone stole an oil painting of a giant peach? Journalists can smell scope better than burgers, end quote. What? Well, how'd it go? Find anything out? Actually, there was one thing I wanted to check with you. What's with that scary face you're making? And what's with the I know something but I'm not telling face you've got going, Emma? Oh shit! These are not the same painting! This painting came from behind that dresser. Ah, yeah, so? It was stolen, no? I was hoping you wouldn't figure that out. Do you think you could tell us a bit about it? I suppose it's what you think. Drew Misham was a forger. A forger? What? Emma, about this painting. Oh, that? Quite good, isn't it? That's not what I wanted to ask you about. You want to examine it, is that it? I'd be happy to let you if you had a good reason. But without that, sorry. I guess she wants us to do a little footwork on her own first. Paul, look at this painting. You can see the rough sketch. Oh, looks like it was only half completed. Huh? That's funny. Do the rough sketch and the finished painting look totally different to you? They do, actually. What's that all about? What's up? Not much. We're able to stream, so I'm happy. Did I miss a step here? Oh. So, what exactly is a forger? Well, basically, it's someone who makes forgeries. Fakes, in other words. Fakes? Copies of an original. Exact copies, so precise you can't tell them apart. Well, why not just photocopy them? The big problem with forgeries is that people try to sell them as the real article. It's a crime, of course. So Drew Misham was a criminal, I'm afraid so. He received money to create elaborate forgeries, to supplement his work in illustrations, I guess. I see. Actually, that's why I brought this here in the first place. Well, what do you mean? When you're trying to determine if a painting is a forgery, the rough sketch underneath can be a valuable clue. Yeah, it's just like when you're trying to find out if a card is real or not. You have to check out the layers beneath it. Like doing a magic trick in front of a mirror before you go on stage. But not in the case of forgery, not necessarily anyway. You know what the finished product is going to look like after all. Oh yeah, I guess you would. That's why I brought this. I'm going to use it to see what's under the paint of the finished piece. I get it now. Not that I really needed to go to such lengths, seeing as how one of the paintings was only half finished anyway. Still, it'd be neat to see Mr. Misham's rough sketches. Kind of like what he was drawing when he thought no one was looking. True, that would be interesting, and maybe valuable for our case. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. Flattery will get you everywhere. Maybe I should ask him to help us out. Alright. Now we present this. I've kind of wanted to see the rough sketch under this painting. And I was wondering if your tool there might do the trick. Oh, fine, fine. Just this time, though. Let's check it out. Yeah, we're back to this fun thing. Interesting, interesting. Ooh, we're really getting into the layers now, chat. Woo, boy! What the fuck? Okay, let's print this one out. What the fuck? What the heck? Wow, he really blows. The finished painting isn't anything like the rough. Devices like mine didn't exist until recently. He probably thought he could draw any sort of thing he wanted to for the rough. What do you mean? Well, in the past, you could only analyze the composition of a rough sketch. Composition? In other words, the traces of charcoal between the paint and the canvas. So you would tell if there had been a rough sketch. But not what it looked like. I think I follow you. So in essence, it wouldn't matter what was underneath the finished painting. Some pros would actually paint out a rough sketch entirely, then do a completely new painting on top of that. So Mr. Misham was drawing whatever he wanted before painting over them. Possibly. Is there a problem with that? Not particularly, but something about the sketch itself is kind of odd. You're awfully silent all of a sudden, Apollo. You think you could check out one of the other paintings? Well, sure. You like this detection stuff, don't you? I feel like this artist had a lot more to do with this case of 7 years ago. And he's letting on. That looks like a noodle stand? Okay, let's print this one out. This one too. What's wrong, Apollo? You look so serious all of a sudden. You think I can look at the last one of these? Fine by me, knock yourself out. So the man drew a guy rocking on a guitar. Who's a guy that we know that rocks out on a guitar? Gavin. Then there's the noodle stand guy, because we just saw a noodle stand. I thought it was a cabin. It had wheels, so it was a noodle stand. Okay, this is getting really creepy. Mobile cabin. I mean, we proved that you could put a knocked out person inside a fucking... Chat. Chat. Why is there cards? Why is there cards? Chat. I'm getting scared. I am getting... Why? What is this? What the heck is all this? I hesitate to ask why you're getting so excited. You sure your device isn't leaking some kind of strange radiation? Trusty, look at these sketches! Do you notice anything? No, they're related to all 3 cases that we did. Now you're both white as sheets. What's going on? These sketches are the 3 cases I worked on. What? The murder in the poker room at the Borscht Golf Club. the dead man pulling the noodle stand, and then the events that transpired during the Gaviner's concert. What could it mean? How can he have drawn those things? And why? That's what I want to know. Wait, is Drew Misham your father? Give me a break! Does that sound even remotely possible to you? I've never even heard of any Drew Misham before. I hadn't even seen a picture of him. But there were my cases, drawn on this canvas. Every single one of them. It couldn't have been a coincidence. Just who was this Drew Misham? And what did he have to do with me? Chat, what the fuck? Good morning. So, you're Vera, right? I'm Trucy. Trucy Wright. That's right with a W, but not right, right? We're on your side. You can tell us anything, please. Good morning. She speaks! Not bad, not bad. But I think you could do better with a little smile, you know? You're so pretty. You need to sell yourself, you know? Trucy, let's take it easy for starters. Okay, that's cute. Thank you for taking my case. Okay, well that's a start, I guess. Here she goes with the nail polish again. That's great, really. It's so cultured. One try. Ooh, really? Gross. The victim, Drew Misham, is a forger. And a stolen painting was found in his studio. A life of crime, really. And maybe one that led to his death. October 8th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 3. Well, we will now begin the trial of Vera Misham. Is the judge okay? His voice is all raspy. He's looking around all nervous like. The repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time. It may indeed alter our legal system forever. Today is the test of the jurist system, and the first step towards a new order in our courts. Daddy's secret mission. The jurists will function like a jury. It is hoped their inclusion will help the courts do better to reflect the people's will. Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom? The 3 closed-circuit cameras watch the courtroom at all times. The jurists have access to everything that transpires. Jurists! Judge well and judge cool. Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was going to say that. My apologies, Herr Judge. Jurists, today, judge today's trial coolly, if you would be so kind. Jurists are unbound by the letter of the law. They don't affect the trial with evidence, but by their feelings. And we're about to find out just what effect they're going to have. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin, the details of the case, if you would. The victim is the painter Drew Misham. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned by whom, you ask? By none other than the defendant, Vera Misham. Objection! Objection! There wasn't any poison in the coffee. Achtung! Someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself. The mug? Yeah, residue was found on the rim, I see. The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim's death. The court accepts this as evidence. Death by atroquine poisoning, estimated time 9 to 9:30. According to this report, the victim's death was caused by atroquinin poisoning, a chemical compound that does not occur naturally. Lethal dosage is a mere 0.002 milligrams. A touch of atroquinin in the body is the touch of the Reaper's scythe. Hey, next! Very well. Prosecutor Gavin, you may present your witness. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. That journalist, no doubt. Oh, right. Nix, prepare your eyeballs. The witness will state his name and occupation.
Oh, right. Well, for starters, my name's Spark Brushel. My job is a lone observer of the world.
In other words, a freelance journalist, right?
If you don't mind, I'd like to say something here for the record. Yes, Mr. Brushel. I dislike conclusions, specifically the aspect of jumping to conclusions. Preconceptions make Park Sandbox of endless desert waste. End quote.
But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday.
Well, that's true, yes. Right, you must understand I stand before you today as a man with a dream. I'm offering you my testimony in exchange for exclusive right to the story. Scoop turns Mr. Brushel into that Mr. Brushel. End quote.
Jesus fucking Christ, someone kill him. Let's hear your testimony then, shall we? A simple case, eh, Gavin? For me, the jury is still out.
I visited the studio around 9 that night to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the Altair journalistic history made, end quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next? Stars Falls, end quote. No one else had the room besides her the whole time.
He's almost drawing a completely different art style. What the fuck?
That does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him. What are you saying, Judge?
Need I remind you the cameras are rolling today? I felt the need to be a bit dramatic. You didn't do it, did you?
Me do a killing like do a thing like, come on, that's like newsmaker making the news, end quote. Or even contemporary witch hunt, end quote.
Stop! Stop! I want you off my screen! Rock indeed. Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having fun. I'm so happy for him.
Very well, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please.
I'm gonna kill him. I want him hung. I want him drawn, hung, and quartered. He is a very disturbing man. Also, I have to press on his fourth statement because what the fuck do you mean stars fall? Be more specific, asshole! After this trial, Gavin takes him out back and shoots him, and nobody would dare convict Gavin for it. I could shoot a man on 3rd Street, and no one would convict me! What's this about a star falling? Stars fall, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money over.
Zowie, you don't know? That's like a journalism code word. An important personage passes away, a star falls, get it?
But there's no gravity in space, is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really. Does this matter?
Oh boy, this is good stuff, good stuff. How about star breaks? No, lacks punch. I know, star dies. Nah, lacks imagination. Of course, you could go with Drew dies, straight to the point. I like it.
And then we need to hear about something a little more substantial. Star's coffee. You say Mr. Misham had the coffee too, but did you actually see him drink the coffee?
Of course. He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger. End quote. I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about a world yet.
Yet?
I guess I can't say I saw him drinking it, really. He had one so-called sip, if that. Man puts lips to mud, drinks, end quote.
That poisoning is quite virulent,
my stomach did a so-called somersault, since I gulped down that coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Wait, maybe something's there, some kind of so-called trick. Anyone want to venture a guess for the record?
Does this guy have a pause button? Well, Mr. Justice, did you find that testimony valuable? Yeah, he had one sip. The victim drank his coffee, then immediately fell over?
Oh, yeah, you can go to press for that one.
Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Please add it to the testimony.
Very well, the witness will add this to his testimony. Vital right.
Okay. Objection! Take this, you fuck. You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison used. Atrinoquine. Atroquinin.
Prosecutor Gavin was quite clear about the poison. A lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzes the central nervous system. If you drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, would be reduced to a quivering pile.
Why are you using me as an example? Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. There was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information.
An omission?
Atroquinin is a virulent, as he says, but death doesn't come upon ingestion, not immediately. That's because atroquinin is a slow-acting.
Slow-acting? What?
According to one forensic scientist, it's one of the most virulent poisons, but it's absorbed in the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for adverse effects to show. If we suppose at the moment Mr. Misham sipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate, then he would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of joe. Oh my god, he's so stickly.
Order, what is the meaning of this? If what the defense says is correct, why, that contradicts the entire testimony we've just heard.
Well, Mr. Brushel, anything to say on the record?
Slow-acting, it was virulent, all right. Even then, I'd already begun digging his closet of the journalist.
He's working on a scoop.
Objection!
It's Brushel, yeah? Herr Brushel, let's take a trip back down memory lane.
Huh?
Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? Think it over. This is vital.
You know what I think? I think that was a not-so-subliminal suggestion. End quote.
I admit it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. I would be forced to say off Winderson to my simple case. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article.
Come again?
You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? And as the case drags on, other reporters will pick up the scent. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye.
Stop.
Stop. Why? Why are you the way that you are?
Oh, look, wait, just wait a second. Just 1 second. We're waiting. Out with it. I think I just recall a so-called important detail. A revival of recollection, end quote. A story survival, end quote.
Attorney utterly confused, end quote.
Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I wrote a poison that takes its sweet time, see?
But not what I've been saying for the last few minutes, apparently.
Mr. Brusher, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened? You bet I am! The antidote for a poisonous contradiction, end quote, you might say.
Or I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say.
I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. See, thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned that coffee. Order!
As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his testimony. That Mr. Misham died the instant after he drank.
Of course I'm standing by my testimony. And my dream of exclusive rights to this story.
I suppose it was too much to hope for. What was? Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case, not him.
Him?
Phoenix Wright, who else? Act on, Herr Brushel. Report for us if you would. What is it that you noticed?
Stop. This court is a critical trial of the jury system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. You will testify to the court about what you noticed.
Jesus fucking Christ, someone kill him.
When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note?
He was writing a note?
A suicide note? Ah, he had this look on his face. Man's face inscrutable as a quadratic equation. End quote.
Suicide? Poor Mr. Misham. But that means Vera's innocent. Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Oh.
You don't know his fucking plans? Very well, you may begin your cross-examination.
You said letter. So he put the letter away when he saw you?
Only reporter gets word, end quote. That's my secret.
I'm not sure I follow.
And it's the night's interview. I arrive 15 minutes ahead of schedule.
Oh, fuck you.
The handle turns, the door opens, and I barge in!
Are you sure that's okay to do? I mean, isn't that unlawful entry, really?
Mr. Misham sure seemed to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter into that yellow envelope as fast as he could. I knew his secret like spot one, and that was one.
He said yellow.
It does seem significant. Mr. Justice?
I wonder, it does have a ring of something important. Add testimony. I'm not convinced this guy is a human. He's an SCP for sure.
Very well, please add to the testimony. Oh, why not? My account comes free of charge.
Yeah, how about fuck you, it's red? As it just so happens, there was a single letter in a desk drawer at the scene. In a red envelope.
Ah!
I want this man dead. I want him out of my life. Prosecutor Gavin. Yes? Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, no. But hair forehead. It's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. I guess, but not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already 7 years ago.
Well, Mr. Brushel, I can explain that. But you're right, he wanted to get that letter in an envelope. Pronto. Get out of sight of my beady eyes, right?
Well, at least he admits he has beady eyes.
So we grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed away.
And what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump?
Mr. Justice, have you anything to say to the witness's claim?
That night, the victim put a letter he had been writing in a red envelope. It's impossible he wouldn't have had time. That's impossible. Ah, I like your expression, so full of confidence. It's simple, really. As it just so happens, the defense teams investigated the contents of this envelope with the assistance of a forensic scientist. What? Note this letter is addressed to Drew Misham.
Oh?
Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself?
I was scooped!
Why do you stand like that?
Mr. Brusher, can you explain this to the court? Oh my, how could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Us reporter gets old, forgets lots, end quote. I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Brusher. Well, that's the thing, see, after he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something.
Probably a gun to shoot you with. His desk drawer?
Yeah, a stamp, a so-called postage stamp, end quote.
A stamp? Whatever for?
Well, to mail his letter, what else? And then, why, yes, I think I saw him put his letter in the box. Yep, it was a yellow envelope, and he put it in that box.
Apparently, this yellow letter.
Oh, how I wish it did. Just think if that were a suicide note. What a story. Star writes suicide note in front of a reporter. False, end quote.
As I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case. That said, yes, Your Honor,
it makes me wonder about the contents of that red envelope.
He's being paid. Oh my God, he did. Okay.
$100,000 is quite a good deal of money.
So this was from 7 years ago, yeah?
So am I finished here? I mean, am I finished here? I was thinking of, going home to start writing.
I hate to state that should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the scent of a story, you make that rather unique face.
Come on! Attorney has active imagination, little else. End quote. Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about.
Judge has an active imagination, end quote.
Please continue with your testimony. Tell us about the scent of a story. Hey, I'm the one asking the questions here, usually. Actually, it took a bit of work to get thumbs up on the interview. Reporter leverages story, gets his interview, end quote. The story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago. The red envelope probably had something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare. So you threatened to go press with this story. That's how you got your interview, blackmail. Well, yes. I mean, no. It wasn't exactly blackmail. I mean, not... Something wrong, Mr. Brushel? Look, this is my story, my tidbit. Journalist info is livelihood, end quote. I see. While you have me chatting away in here, what's going on out there? What if some Wally Wadsworth or Sally Scooper gets wind of my story? Just gonna be going to press while I'm going to waste.
He was a 5 o'clock shadow because he still had his mustache or any facial hair. He'd be arrested for what he did at the women's locker room at the YMCA. Jesus Christ, John. God, those teeth. He's also why there's a list of people why going to schools. A certain case 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago? Oh, that's acting out. Wait, if you knew... Mr. Brushel, you're hiding something. Oh, nope, I didn't hit it right. Did I miss it? Oh, I saw it! There's something dark there. Okay. timing. I fucking hate the timing of this. Sweat much, Mr. Brushel?
Yeah, well, man can't help his clients, you know.
It's more than that, Mr. Misham's talent was mentioned. You suddenly began to sweat buckets.
Uh,
You're hiding something about his talent.
what? That's ridiculous.
Evidence time. Let's show where Mr. Misham's talent lay. It just so happens I have evidence showing the talent mentioned in that letter. Yeah, he's a thief. This painting was found in Mr. Misham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first is it wasn't painted by Mr. Misham. The second is that there were another painting in the studio, which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. Then we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000, which suggests a certain business operation. The business of making forgeries.
Ah!
That is all, Your Honor.
Everyone, please, everyone. Can we keep this private, please? This is my story, my scoop. Forgery, that's a serious crime. Drew Misham is known as an artist these days. Well, there were rumors he dabbled in another kind of art until a few years back. Another art meaning forgery. Drew Misham was a talented, all right. Talented at making precise, detailed fakes. In fact, that certain criminal elements were quick to discover.
Criminal elements? What? You can't seriously be talking about.
Exactly. I'm talking about forging evidence. The rumor started circulating 7 years ago. 7 years ago? So are we to understand that this letter, this payment of $100,000 was for... Exactly. Forged evidence. Net's tiny profit. End quote.
He forged evidence? Wait, hold on. He forged evidence 7 years ago. Nick Phoenix is removed from the lawyers because he used forged evidence. But Nick would never use forged evidence knowingly. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god! I don't have concrete yet, but...
Why, it's like our victim was living a double life.
Aha, this is my chance. So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? He could have had plenty of enemies we know nothing about. This is my first time hearing of this criminal world. We certainly found no criminal connections when we conducted our investigation. But how do you explain all the money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity. But there is no proof tying this letter to our case. Our case was and remains simple from the beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned that mug that night. And you, of course.
Hey, the only thing I poison is my pen when I'm writing reviews.
No. Not Brushel. Not Brushel. Going to the court record, this guy makes forgeries. So, it was known that he forged evidence. He did this 7 years ago. Who also lost his job 7 years ago.
Mr. Brushel, your testimony to this point has been quite unreliable. It doesn't speak well of your reporting accuracy. What are you talking about? My journalism is rock solid. Journalism's so solid you could stand an elephant on it. End quote.
Your journalism is as solid as fucking what's-his-face. Oh, what's-his-face? Your journalism is as solid as Tim Pool's journalism, you fucking loser.
In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. If we can ascertain the situation in that studio from the recap, the trial is over.
Apollo, what's he talking about? The cross-examination showed Mr. Brushel didn't have a reason or means to poison him. As long as there's no other suspects, then the killer had to be Vera, that's what. This next testimony is our last chance.
Mr. Brushel, your testimony, please. The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. It was Vera who poured the coffee. She's admitted as much herself. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug. And nothing left that studio after he died. Nothing. And clearly the only one who could have poisoned him was his daughter.
A nice testimony. Clear, succinct, and without room for doubt.
Aw, shucks. You really think so? I believe this clarifies the situation that night. Very well, Mr. Justice, you may begin your final cross-examination.
Right. Still have one trump card left to play. And I won't let this trial end until I use it.
The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant.
That's true. Vera did admit to doing it. The only thing that touched Drew's lips. No. Something did leave the... Hold on. Not one thing, you're sure?
Yeah, sure as can be.
No, he said the envelope left.
Well, with one exception. What exception? What? Journalist Spark Brushel does interview. Leave studio. End quote. Come on. Yeah, it's a joke. Get it? Not funny, I know, but still.
Did somebody leave the studio that night? Why does that sound familiar? Where have I heard something like that before?
Now that we've proven our witness is a comedian of sorts, I'd like to turn to our defense attorney before returning to the testimony. Do you have any idea what, if anything, might have left the studio that night?
Yeah, the fucking yellow envelope that he talked about. I think one thing might very well have left the studio that night, actually. A certain something that has vanished from the crime scene.
Really, what you mean? Something other than our witness?
Of course. Don't tell me, Vera Misham. Believe me, any comic relief I may provide is entirely unintentional.
And let's see what you've got for us, Mr. Justice.
Well, this thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show it to you, but I do have evidence that shows how it could have been taken from the scene.
What?
This is the only link between the studio and the outside world.
Letterbox.
What did Mr. Brushel just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, it was true.
Furthermore, he went on to tell us that he put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox.
Ah.
But that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night, the yellow envelope disappeared. Yes, intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course, this changes nothing. Huh?
He has a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Misham. Is it really important that this envelope the witness says he saw disappeared?
Well, if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio that night. That seems very important to me.
Very well, then. The witness will add this to his testimony. You got it.
I still think this fails to change anything here, Forehead. I wouldn't be so sure. A letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. This is exactly the opening I've been looking for. Okay. Was that mug?
Hold it!
Are you sure? You're sure about that?
Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies the whole time.
One of those candies might have been poisoned. Yet at the time of the autopsy, no fresh fragrance of mint filled the room, and no mint residue was found. It was a long shot anyway. don't tell me you're still trying to prove this. You think the victim ate or drank or otherwise ingested something other than coffee?
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have something to prove.
The possibility is there. I can feel it. Just maybe not prove it. Not yet. The possibility isn't going to cut it right now. Mr. Misham ingested that poison via a route other than coffee. The tiny portrait. The tiny portrait. The tiny portrait. The tiny portrait. There was poison on the tiny portrait that I found. You do understand what we need, yeah? Proof, Hair Forehead, not possibilities. Of course, and Prosecutor Gavin, I hope you understand. I'm ready to give you that proof. What did you say? I have proof of the disappearing envelope.
I saw him writing a letter, I did. Which was picked up by the mailman, I assume.
Of course, which means that envelope had a stamp on it. Jesus, the witness is very ugly. Very perceptive of you, Jesse!
Stamp.
As we all know, stamps come with a dried glue on the back. In order to use the glue, you have to wet it by licking the stamp.
Objection!
No one worth talking to actually licks stamps in this day and age.
Objection!
Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead after all. Okay, so he licked the stamp. But wait, how does that explain the atroquinin on the rim of the coffee?
Objection!
It was on his lips, and then it transferred over. If he licked the back of the poison stamp, the poison would get on his tongue, yes? What would then happen if he put the coffee mug to his mouth? Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing. It was the other way around.
What?
The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Misham. Mr. Misham poisoned the coffee mug himself. So it was suicide?
Order! But that doesn't... does it?
Recall, if you would, atroquinin is a slow-acting poison, yes? The poison entered his body when he put the stamp on that envelope, but this time wasn't up until the very moment he touched his lips to that cup of joe.
One debt to society later.
Stop.
You have something to add, Mr. Brushel?
His nose is picking up another scent.
As I believe I mentioned earlier... Well, that's the thing, see, after he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. Ah, a stamp, a so-called postage stamp, end quote. But, you know, I don't seem to remember him ever finding one. Maybe he just run out.
Incidentally, we searched the desk drawer at the scene of the crime. There were no stamps, not a single one.
That does pose a problem. How will he prove that the stamp was coated with poison?
Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. It makes proving the stamp he used was poison possible. Where on the bear did he touch you, Stamp?
Good show, good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene in the first place. Well, let's hear what the defense has to say anyway. There's your evidence that proves the existence of this poison stamp.
The poison frame that holds shit.
Take that!
Well, that certainly is a cute little frame, and by little I mean really little.
It was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself. I noticed that too during my inspection, so what? Apparently you weren't observant as you should have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important.
You're missing something?
Yes, a pale bluish stain on the inside of the frame. Atroquinin residue. What? Why was I told about this? The frame is only 2 inches square. The base of the frame is even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most. You weren't saying... Oh, but I am. Tell me, what fits in such a small frame? A commemorative stamp, perhaps? Oh, shit!
Order! 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 The poison stamp was in this frame.
One debt to society later.
Impossible!
Prosecutor Gavin!
Why would he put something like that on his desk? Don't tell me he had it there so he could commit suicide if the mood struck.
You know, I can say something. I had a thought, see? What, Russian? Please stop jittering around like that. The victim was a forger, right? There's a lot of money in that line of work. Forger forges friends, makes enemies too, end quote.
So the poison stamp might have been a murder weapon, aimed at him. Oh, Rich. That's Rich. Leave the ridiculous flights of fancy to the Governor's song lyrics, please. Finally, something we agree on. The stamp was a murder weapon? Nonsense! Murder is a simple business. Who would go to such lengths? No one. Oh, I disagree. Come again! Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. Drew Misham hid from the world. He avoided meetings. His only contact with the outside world was the mail.
The mail?
Now, if you wanted to kill someone you couldn't meet, but you knew red letters, a stamp would be the perfect weapon. Ridiculous. Where's your proof? I want proof! Show evidence that this poison stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon. I might not have evidence, per se, but things are finally starting to come together. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh my god! It did come! It came with his payment! Your fists are trembling. I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I think I know how Mr. Mission was killed.
Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice.
A certain piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor. I can show you how someone with the intent to kill sent Mr. Mission the stamp. The fucking work!
Isn't this the envelope, the one from 7 years ago?
Think about the text of the letter again. There were 2 pages in the envelope. This page is 1. And this is page 2. I want to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. The enclosed stamp, Your Honor.
In other words, if I have this strike, the stamp poison on the stamp, lick, lick, gasp, end quote.
Now, what if we had done exactly as the letter asked? He would sign the document, put it in the envelope, and put the stamp on it, right? Then he would put it in his letterbox. 15 minutes would have elapsed between affixing the stamp and mailing the letter. But the clock started ticking, and when the time came, he drew his last breath. And then the murder weapon would be taken away from the scene.
Quite conveniently, thanks to the postal system.
Such a splendid imagination you have, Herr Forehead. Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So, this poison stamp was inside this envelope from 7 years ago, yeah? Is that what you have us believe, really? Well, it is a little bit of a stretch, but there's a possibility. Yes, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder. A poison stamp in this envelope, a stamp that then became the murder weapon? How do you intend to prove this seeming coincidence? Well, it was 7 years ago. We don't even know who sent that letter. And your answer is silence. I see. Very well. I move to... It's not nice to pick on someone, Fräulein Clavier. Huh? Emma? Well, like my Christoph Gavin impression? Did I sound like him? Don't quit your day job. Don't you have a crime scene to be looking after, Fräulein Detective? Someone had to come dig you out of all the mess you're making out of the case. Mess? You know, none of this would have happened if you just trusted in science a little more. You can find out that stamp was in the envelope, easy. Care to explain yourself, Fräulein Detective? Glare at me all you want, but science is on my side. It's all in the residue, right? That's right! The poison detection spray. So spray the letter.
Produce the red envelope at once. You can open it on the authority of the court.
There it is. Hello, gorgeous!
Would you look at that?
No mistaking it. That's atraquinin residue.
I don't believe it. A murder weapon from the past. Now, 7 years later, it bears fangs of the past.
Absolutely outrageous. Tell me why. Why didn't this murder take place 7 years ago? Well, there's one possibility. Maybe Mr. Mission figured it out.
You figure what out?
He realized the person who sent that letter wanted him dead. So he sent his reply with a different stamp.
And put his decisive evidence in the frame. You're still here. Can I make a statement here on the record? I spark Razor Truth Brushel claims the scoop is mine. Drew Misham killed in cold blood by sender of 7-year-old letter. End quote. No, maybe something more succinct. Star falls after 7-year delay. End quote. Order! I see no room for further argument here, though I admit this is all coming as quite a shock. To think that the murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 years. Stab is a ticket straight to afterlife, end quote.
Uh-oh, I think the witness is a bad influence on our judge.
I see no need to further debate on this matter. The sender of that letter 7 years ago could hardly have been our defendant.
Apollo, I think we just won.
Very well, this court finds a defendant.
Don't tell me you're gonna accuse Vera of fucking working with somebody. Is this the bright future of our legal system?
Prosecutor Gavin?
A ticket to the afterlife from 7 years ago? Tickets for Governor shows are invalid after 2 weeks.
It doesn't make sense any other way.
It boggles my mind that so many people haven't noticed this. There's a fatal contradiction in Herr Forehead's claims. A contradiction? A poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago, whereupon it was framed until now. If that's the case, then why would your mission have done it what he did? Emma explained that he must have realized it was poison. Then why would he lick it? Therein lies the rub. 7 years ago, the forger Drew Misham sensed a trap and put the stamp in the frame. I do not debate this, but this begs the question. Why 7 years later did he use that stamp on the night of the murder? Surely you don't mean to suggest that Mr. Misham simply forgot. He put the murder weapon in a frame on his desk for 7 years and forgot? You expect us to believe he sprang the trap on himself? I miss Edgeworth. I miss him too.
Well, I admit, this is all quite shocking myself. It does seem highly unlikely that he would fall foul of a trap that had been sitting on his desk for 7 years.
Apollo, I don't think we're winning anymore. I'm glad to see we're all back in the real world. Welcome back to reality. We've been waiting for you.
Objection!
Okay, then how do you explain the poison stamp that was in this envelope? The poison stamp? Where exactly is this poison stamp again? Have you brought to court for us? I see no proof that such a thing ever existed. What about the atraquinin residue, huh? Oh, I agree, that does seem to be atraquinin residue, but Herr Forehead, it's certainly not a stamp. Yeah, but even if your precious poison stamp did exist, Drew Misham would never have used it. That is all.
I believe we've come to a conclusion again.
Apollo, were we wrong the whole time? I can't believe it. The poison traces match up. It can't be a coincidence.
I'd like to bring some closure to this issue sometime this year. Mr. Justice.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's review the facts and see where we stand. 7 years ago, Drew Misham received a red envelope. There were traces of the poison atraquinin on the document inside that envelope. A similar trace was also found at the scene of the crime, on this tiny picture frame. The defense has indicated the possibility of a yellow envelope, and the envelope that left the scene of the crime with the poison stamp on it.
Yes, but even if this envelope contained a poison stamp, and Drew Misham, knowing this, put it in a frame, he never would have used that stamp.
I'm afraid you're right, which means there is a fatal flaw in the defense's case.
And we haven't been on the wrong track this whole time, I'm sure of it. The traces of Atraquinin, the envelope, the frame, and Drew Misham's mysterious death. They're all connected somehow.
Well, Mr. Justice, you have a conclusion for us?
The defense stands by its case, Your Honor. We've seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense, which means that one of our clues must be fake. A fake clue? Fascinating. And if we find this fake, your wild fantasies will prove quite reasonable, yeah? The fake clue that's thrown off this poison's trail. Yeah, because there was only the stamp. The only poison there was the fucking stamp!
The victim was a fake clue? I'm afraid I don't understand.
I'll explain. We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug linked by poison. That all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself. Congratulations, you've completely lost me. So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fake himself, the forger? It makes a good story, I'll give you that. We get there when we get there, John. The fake clue, fake forgeries. Ah, I know the face. That's the face of I just had an idea's face. I don't know if I'm right, but I'm going with it anyway. What if our forger is the fake? Come again? 7 years ago, our forger sniffed a trap and stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbles into that very same trap and dies. Why?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Because the forger who was killed was a fake. Here we are again. The victim was a fake? One forger smelled the trap. One forger fell into the trap. That's two forgers. And one of them was a fake. Oh my god, is the daughter a forger? It's only the two of them lit. Oh my god, he could have taught her. Oh my god. Oh my god! She's 19, 7 years. She would have been fucking 12. A 12-year-old can be really good at drawing. Especially if her father's a good forger and he taught her. Especially from a very young age. Oh shit! My fucking defense is fucking defending a forger. So you are telling us that Drew Misham, the victim, was a fake. Well, if he was the fake, who was the real forger? You better not be claiming there was some kind of switcheroo.
I'm afraid you're going to back up your story. Mr. Justice, show us who the real Drew Misham was.
If Drew Misham wasn't the real forger, there's only one other person it could be. Understood, Your Honor. Forger Drew Misham was himself a forgery. The real forger was his daughter, Farah. There's going to be only one explanation. The real identity of the forger, known as Drew Misham, is none other than his only daughter, Vera.
Order! Mr. Justice, this is going out on a limb even for you.
I kind of agree. I mean, Vera, a forger? Let's consider it before you write it off entirely. If you look at the paintings in the studio, one fact becomes clear. Forgery had been taking place in that studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in that trap 7 years ago. This can only mean that the only one who was caught in that trap wasn't the forger.
Well, actually, that does make a certain kind of sense.
Get drink water. One more thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger's studio. Drew Misham's and Vera Misham's. If we know that Drew Misham wasn't the forger, that leaves only one possibility by process of elimination. The forger was Vera. Well, this is getting good. There's a ladder to the trial. So I'm gonna finish this day 1 trial and then you can go play 40K.
If you want to keep going for a little bit while, that's okay. I made enough coffee to last us until well.
Nice.
Just let me know when you're done.
Hey, Vera. Vera Mission. You've been paying attention to the trial so far.
Let's just ask her and be done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger Drew Misham? Are we able to talk about the outcome about 3? Are we at Jesse? No spoilers at all. Period. No. Are we able to talk about case 3? Yeah, we did finish case 3. That if it's not if it's something we've already done, you can talk about it. Was that an expression of emotion I saw on her face? She's staring holes into Prosecutor Gavin's face. I'm used to being stared at by Fräuleins, believe me. Though they usually talk to me, too. But tell us, were you the one who forged those works of art? Yes.
So the forger, Drew Bishop, was you.
One debt to society later.
Yes, it was me.
Wait! Wait!
The court was in an uproar and it wasn't coming down. We had to break for a 10-minute recess. Okay, so this is the, I want to get through the day 1 trial. We're not done here yet, chat. We are not done till we get to day 2. Okay, so where exactly does this leave us, Apollo? Well, the Drew Misham who was killed wasn't Drew Misham, the forger, basically. Huh? Well, then who was he? Well, he was actually doing her nails. So you really made those forgeries? Yes, for Father. I know it was wrong. Could you tell us how it happened? My father was a painter. I loved painting ever since I was a child. One day Father saw it in me. He saw that I had the talent. The talent for making forgeries? How should I say it? It was not only paintings I made. Given the materials, I could make anything. Anything? Father was so proud, and I so happy. But in the end, I was making those. Forgeries. I've never had a good constitution nor personality. I know very little of the world outside my door. Now, because of me, Father is... Do you know about this red envelope? I remember that envelope. It was some time ago. So, you were already, creating your works back then? I started when I was only 12. So, the one who figured out the stamp was poison, that was... Mr. Justice, it's time. To the courtroom, please. Right. Out of time. Wait, Vera, just one more thing, please. Those 3 paintings in the studio, I painted those as part of my work. Right, see, we checked them out and we saw it was underneath. We saw the rough sketches underneath the 3 finished paintings. I see. Mr. Justice? Yeah? Father, he knew of you. Of both of you. Your late father. He was watching, gathering information. All about the Wright & Co. law office. Why was he stalking us? But lately we're not doing just law. Yes, you do tricks, gags to amuse and play piano. Well, they're not really gags. Yet when Father heard you had resumed the legal business... How pleased he was. Why would a forger be pleased in us going back into law? Who was Mr. Misham? How am I supposed to know? What if he was Dad's dad? judging from the relative ages involved, I'd say it's highly unlikely. Things are already confusing enough with all these daddies running around. We know that the victim's daughter, Vera, was the forger. What does this mean for the case? Guess we're about to find out.
Court is now back in session.
Vera seems pretty tense. She's practically chewing her fingernails clean off. Perhaps you could begin by telling us how it all worked? How'd you set up this Drew Misham's forger persona? There's that stare again. She's drilling more holes into his head. I know it's hard for you, but hey, he's a handsome guy.
What's hard? Me. I'm hard, Apollo. Especially me, Apollo. Very well, miss, if you would. Did you really make those detestable forgeries?
Perhaps you'd rather answer my question. Were you the one who painted the painting? The remarkably similar ones? Yeah. I painted it, yes. Father praised me quite highly for it.
So she was the one who made the forgeries.
Yet, she did not wish to reveal the truth of their operation. So the victim was a stand-in, a decoy. To the world at large, he was the forger, not her. I've done a bad thing. I have, haven't I? Regardless, we need a little more information. About this, for instance. You have seen this before, yeah? Yes, it was in the desk drawer.
Very well, you may proceed with your testimony. Tell us everything you know about this envelope.
Jesus Christ almighty. I created things and Father sold them. This envelope came after my first work. That was other than a painting. Father handled the deal, all of it. I received the stamp that was in that envelope. It was after that job that we moved to the current studio.
There certainly was much of a great interest in your testimony.
Not that the witness realizes it.
Very well. Please begin the cross-examination.
Right, okay. I need more information about this forger. This Drew Misham. Okay, but here's a better question. What were you doing that the guy would try to poison you? Or girl. Or non-binary pal. So these things you were making, you mean paintings, identical to other paintings, right? The closer they were, the happier Father was. I was happy too.
Still, you're quite young now. When did you begin this work?
My first painting sold when I was 12. Your Honor, she had no idea what she was doing was illegal.
Objection!
Easy there, little attorney. You're not here to defend her for the crime of forgery.
True. Please tell us more about this envelope. This envelope that may very well have killed your father.
Alright. This envelope came after my first work. That was other than a painting. What else did you do? By other painting, you mean you'd only done paintings up to that point? Yes, but Father had a realization. He noticed my talent extended to making things other than paintings. You made forged evidence. For instance, a letter someone had written, or a fingerprint left upon a cup, or a signature on a document, a seal upon a letter. None of this makes her sound very innocent at all. And the $100,000 promised in this letter was the start. The beginning of a new industry for Drew Misham.
A new industry.
The creation of items to be used in the criminal proceedings. Forging evidence, in other words. Uh-oh. Father handled the deal, all of it. Okay. I received the stamp that was in that envelope. How'd you know it was poisoned? What do you mean you received it? Did I do something wrong? You didn't use that stamp because it was dangerous, correct? Deadly poison on the back. A trick. Atroquinin. A moment here, Forehead. You can't force an answer upon the witness. Now then, perhaps you would tell me, Fräulein Vera, why did you receive the stamp?
Is something wrong?
It was beautiful.
You mean it was one of those commemorative stamps?
Yes, I think it was. So, you didn't know about the poison? Which explains why she would put it in a frame. I guess not. So the trap failed by chance, by mistake, thanks to this commemorative stamp.
Quite the close call.
It was after that job we moved to the current studio. What job? What job? You mean you moved to where the current Drew studio is? Yes, we saw very few people there. I began drawing picture books. This single job had tied them to the criminal underworld. I think Mr. Misham wished to reduce their visibility in the world at large. When we had to meet someone for some reason, Father posed as the creator of the work. So that was the real essence of the artist, Drew Misham. You did the work, and he supplied the face.
So, you really didn't know anything, did you? You had no idea how much danger you were in.
Apparently not. About this commemorative stamp. Could you tell us more about it? It was very pretty, and more than that. Yeah? It was a picture of people I liked at the time. This is something new. Out with it! Apparently, we've got some cross-examination yet ahead of us. If you would be so kind as to continue your testimony, Fräulein. The stamp was a picture of my favorite magician, so I kept it. Hold on. Magicians, 7 years ago.
Objection!
Fuck you! Those magicians you like, was it this bunch? Apollo, they're not a bunch!
I see. Still, I have to wonder. Why include a commemorative stamp like that in a business letter?
Good question. Well, pretty stamps are always better, and you can't beat Troupe Gramier.
But the whole murder plan was a failure because of it. Ironic, don't you think? Prosecutor Gavin?
Gramier. What's with Gavin? Might I ask just one question of this witness? In your testimony just now, you stated this was your first work that was other than a painting. Please, tell me, what exactly did you make? Can I ask why? No! Answer the question! Now! Yeek!
Prosecutor Gabbard, you're usually not the one whose volume concerns me.
Yes, it is unbecoming of me. I apologize. But I must know. Please, Miss Misham, tell me. It was a book. A single page in a book. A book? Please be more specific. It was a handwritten book. Like a diary. What's got you bent out of shape, bud? No! I don't know! Gavin, what's got you bent out of shape, bud? What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks like he just saw a ghost. Miss Misham, this book. Was there a picture of a silk hat on the back cover? Yes or no? How did you know? Prosecutor Gavin, the defendant is answering all of your questions. Stop badgering her. He's told you nothing, hasn't he? Your soiled, sullied mentor. Nothing? Sully, who? Phoenix Wright. Who else? Dad? He never told you about the trial 7 years ago. About how he came to lose his attorney's badge? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Someone hired Vera to make forged evidence and then gave it to Phoenix. Oh my god! It was a certain piece of evidence that decided this fate, you know. A certain diary. On the back, it bore the mark of a silk hat. What?! Phoenix Wright, tossed out of the profession by false evidence, and the forger who made that evidence... Is this girl standing right in front of me? Vera, you must tell us. The evidence you made used in the trial 7 years ago. Who asked Drew Misham, you, to forge that evidence? For all of our sakes, who was it? We only met once. You met the client. Well, who was it? It was... Hey, Vera, you good? What's going on with Vera? She's staring at Prosecutor Gavin's face again. Yes, what? Is there something about me? I remember clearly. I remember who gave me the book, the diary. Who was it? Joke. Vera? What the fuck? The devil. Defendant Vera Misham, condition unconscious. Examiner's diagnosis, acute atroquinin poisoning. Oh my god. Oh my god. Guys. Guys. What was she doing to ingest things? She was biting her nails. And what was on her nails? Nail polish. Or, more specifically, atroquinin. Oh my god. Oh my god! I think I just busted this wide open by accident. Vera Misham was during the trial poisoned by an unknown assailant. The dosage was just under the lethal amount, sparing the defendant's life. She is currently in intensive care and is not to be disturbed for any reason. A very simple case at first glance, until it finally began to show its true colors. The long road to the truth takes us to the records of another trial. Hey! In some ways, that was the starting point of it all. There's Gavin. That's where we must go. Find the whole truth. Aw, Truce, you look so cute. Okay, okay. Chat, look at me. Look at the mole. Look at me. Look at the mole. Okay. Okay. So, 7 years ago. 7 years ago. 7 years ago, Phoenix loses his license as an attorney. He is brought before the bar because he used forged evidence in a case. We know that Phoenix would never do that. He would never use forged evidence knowingly. And if he did know, he would never use it willingly. Period. However, there is a few other things that we need to take into account especially with one person that Vera looked at and called the devil. Gavin. However,
Clavier is his first name, not Gavin. Gavin is his last name. I think I just busted this case wide the fuck open.
it's Gavin's brother, Apollo's teacher. It is the other Gavin. It is the other Gavin. The other Gavin did it. His brother, like, holy fuck. What's his brother's name again? Hold on. Kristoff. Kristoff did it. But the question is, why did he do it? What, like, she wouldn't have pointed to Gavin. Like, she wouldn't have pointed to Kristoff, like, Clavier, if she wasn't serious. But why would he do such a thing? Yeah, it's kind of boggling my mind too, but then we remember that he had the capacity to murder before. The first case was Kristoff's fault. He murdered the gambling guy. So oh my god, I'm even remembering like the whole case. It's running through my brain. He was the only one to vote no when Phoenix was brought before the bar among like his colleagues. He was the only one in the group to vote no. Why would he vote no? It would make more sense for him to vote yes. He was probably going to lose against Phoenix. That's why he needed Phoenix out of the way. But then why would he be Phoenix's friend for 7 years? We know it's Kristoff. We don't know why. But we will have to figure out the why tomorrow. Because I'm going to do a makeup stream tomorrow for you guys. So, yeah, you won't have to wait that long. We won't have to wait that long to get our fucking answer. So, I thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your donations today. I appreciate you all very much. And hopefully, hey, Friday, it'll be a little bit of a later stream. It'll be a little bit of a later stream because we will be streaming with our boy, Lasgar Lockman, on Friday. Hell yeah, baby. I miss our Orc Man. I miss our Forger. Holy shit. I miss them, and I want to play fucking games with them. We're going to be playing Helldivers 2 together on Friday night. So if you want, come join in for the fun and watch as we get absolutely fucking wrecked by the bugs and the robots. Hey, Brushel got kicked down the stairs. No one cares. No one cares what happened to Brushel. He's gone. He's out of our lives forever. Finally, we're free! But yeah, we will continue this case tomorrow and hopefully finish it tomorrow. Also, I have also begun work on the World Eaters Army Guide. Started editing it, actually. So expect that sometime next week. And don't forget Friday as well is when the new video is uploaded to YouTube. So, please, again, don't forget to donate if you can. Very much appreciate all donations when given to me. And I will talk to you all tomorrow for the makeup stream, because we didn't stream